least 1 hour with in one-on-one advising services. And right now in 2025, fiscal year 2025, we have 5 Appomattox County clients. We have 54 people who in fiscal year 2024 54 businesses attended training.
Thank you.
And all that information should be, that was in the application. So,
All righty, Ms. Keener, thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
Up next is Ms. Melissa Lucy, CEO of Horizons Behavioral Health, is requested to appear before the board to provide an update on services provided by Horizon Behavioral Health.
So first, thank you very much for allowing me to present this evening. This past fiscal year, Horizon celebrated our 55th anniversary of services, and I'd like to thank you for the continued support and trust you have placed in us to meet your community's behavioral health needs, an honor and a responsibility I do not take lightly. I will say all of you have this in a packet that Ryan so kindly gave to you, as well as our annual report. So if you can't follow along, or you can just listen to me talk, either is fine. So on the next page, it's been my honor to have been with Horizon for the past 25 plus years to see our mission and vision has endured and persevered across nearly 3 decades, growing to what it is today, a truly integrated, personalized, and collaborative system of care. On the next slide, you will see a list of our portfolios of service, and in each of those, what I'd like to point out is that we have an array of services in each portfolio. So under emergency service, emergency, you have permanent supportive housing, forensics, to name a few, and many more. On the evidence-based programs page, in addition to our previously offered evidence-based programs, we have a new program this year, the In-Depth Tobacco Cessation Education Program, developed by the American Lung Association. It is offered to students served by Horizon's TREE Grant. The program folds tobacco cessation education into a new program that was launched to serve adolescents with substance use treatment needs. I also want to let you know that this fiscal year, Horizon represented our community at the international level, having presented on the outcomes of our evidence-based illness management and recovery, also known as IMR, program at the World Conference on Qualitative Research. This was quite an honor for Horizon as well as for the community, and put us on the national platform. With both local and state level support, Horizon launched 2 new services that will have a direct impact on hospital readmissions. According to the latest research, those programs include Horizon's Co-Responder and Mobile Response Team. Both community-based initiatives aim to aid individuals experiencing a mental health emergency. These are the programs that also allow us to keep individuals who are in crisis in the community and prevent them from being removed and having to go into the hospital. So they're much more intensive services that are offered to them where they're at, in their home, in the schools, and other locations throughout the community. Governor Glenn Youngkin's 3-year comprehensive plan, Right Help Right Now, celebrated its 2-year anniversary in 2024, highlighting achievements in transforming Virginia's behavioral health system with its 6-pillared approach to address behavioral health challenges and strengthen services across the Commonwealth. As the initiative approaches its final year, Horizon remains focused on delivering comprehensive, sustainable behavioral health care to ensure every Virginian has access to the right help at the right time. On the next page, this is a quote from a Horizon client. In the interest of time, I won't read the direct quotes, and if you're like me, you don't like people reading from PowerPoints, so I won't subject you to that, but I do encourage you to go back, look at the quotes, because these are quotes from individuals in your community receiving services. Horizon continues to offer telehealth appointments to accommodate client preference using virtual meeting technology, removing major barriers to access for many clients. And to note, Horizon's total client count has increased since last fiscal year, and we have seen a rise in the number of clients now coming back into the office to receive services. In-person appointments in FY 2023 was 61,802, and in FY 2024 it was 70,279. That number does not include the telehealth appointments. That is only those coming in person in our buildings. But you will see the telehealth appointments in the slide as well. On the next slide, Horizons Intermediate Care Facilities, otherwise known as Horizon Homes, facilitated 1,851 community events and trips, enriching the lives of our residents who look to us to provide daily comprehensive high-quality care. This is important because without these outings, otherwise they would not actually get any outings, and they would not get to do socialization skills. In addition to the stats on the slide, Horizon saw 1,032 individuals in our crisis intervention program, 2,134 individuals in our emergency services program. On average, 138 adult pre-screens were completed monthly for a total of 1,659 adult pre-screenings completed in FY 2024. So as you can see, our crisis team is very busy. For those of you who may not recall, pre-screenings or the pre-admissions form that we have to complete. It's actually a packet of multiple pages that we have to complete for every individual who is in need of crisis services and may have to go to the hospital. So we do this very comprehensive assessment of them with their past, their history, and their current, and that's how many we have completed in emergency situations. You'll notice all of these are community-based programs on the next slide, demonstrating our alignment with the latest best practice to promote access, engagement, and alignment with the right help right now. On the next slide, I want to point out we connected 27 individuals with severe mental illness to permanent supportive housing. Without this program, those individuals would not have stable housing and would be on our streets, in our alleys, or on somebody's couch. That may not sound like a lot of people, but keep in mind we are giving them permanent supportive housing, so they will have housing ongoing for the span of their life. We also help them get everything else going, utilities, etc. Make sure that they have minimal furniture, so not furniture necessarily like a full house would have, but like a futon, pots and pans, etc. Our prevention team had a total of 12,211 face-to-face contacts in FY24. We trained 42 people in ASSIST applied suicide intervention skills, 31 people in Safe Talk suicide alertness for everyone, 151 people in mental health first aid. You all may recall that I put a lot of emphasis on prevention because if we can catch somebody in the beginning before they're in need of mental health services, then we can make a bigger difference in their life and prevent them from ever needing it. On the next slide, I want to point out the figure in the color block is the allotted monthly amount for each individual, for each uninsured individual served. Keep in mind we provide a lot more services than paid for because 1 month of case management would cost $367 by itself. And in many cases, each individual received our doctor and therapy services in addition to case management, as well as many other services for the low monthly price. On the next slide, the Project Link program provides intensive outreach case management, home visitations, and support services to pregnant and parenting women who are at risk or are diagnosed with a substance use disorder. Horizon received 246 referrals from our local birthing hospital for substance-exposed infants, and we follow up on every single one of those referrals. Of women who gave birth while enrolled in Horizon's Project Link program, 6 babies were born this year substance-free. This is remarkable. This means that both the mother and the baby's lives were profoundly impacted by these services, and our teams are succeeding at connecting with women prior to birth to prevent negative health outcomes of mother and baby early. On the next slide, this picture is our Project Link clients at Horizon's second annual Muffins with Moms event in May of 2024, with ongoing partnership with our local birthing hospital. We do have releases to share this, and the mothers actually wanted us to share it with you. On the next slide, care coordination is especially useful when students require extra support during the school year. The care coordinator's role is to provide that support, link the family and the client to needed services, whether it be Horizon or out in the community, and then assist the family in obtaining those services. It is a short-term service with the goal of student and family engagement. In Appomattox, we have served 137 students since August 1st of 2024 in 4 schools in this program. The tree grant serves all localities, obviously including Appomattox, and our community partners have shared that this program has been instrumental in addressing and increasing use of vaping on school property. Some highlights I would like to share are of the 44 required 3-month follow-ups, 41 were completed, achieving a follow-up rate of 93.2%, far exceeding the 61% average for discretionary grants. Similarly, the 6-month follow-up rate of 85.2% surpasses the grant requirement and the discretionary grant average of 45.3%, which means Horizon is well above the national average. This is another quote from an Appomattox community partner. In the interest of time, I won't read it, but encourage you to read it and hear what your community is saying about our services in Appomattox. Some key clinical initiatives is our mobile response team, which are also known as MRTs in Virginia, are a crucial component of the Marcus Alert System, which is designed to improve responses to mental health crises. The integration of MRTs within the Marcus Alert framework is part of an effort to create a more comprehensive, regionally based, and accessible mental health system, and Horizon has achieved our Year 1 implementation benchmark, and we began responding to calls in the summer of 2024. On the horizon, the Crisis Receiving Center renovations have started and are on target. We're actually ahead of schedule. We are scheduled to be finished in October. It was originally supposed to be December, so we're a couple months ahead. The center will provide multiple treatment options for individuals experiencing a mental health crisis, including those that are placed under an emergency custody order or a temporary detention order, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, your law enforcement getting involved. This program will allow them to get back on the streets quicker and not take up their time. We will have, as you know, off-duty officers that are paid specifically to be at the Crisis Receiving Center to serve those clients so the officers can then get released back to the streets. There's an array of services that will support timely placement and treatment services, keeping clients closer to their support networks and offering more options for immediate treatment, all shown to improve long-term recovery and health outcomes of individuals served. Services offered will include walk-in mental health evaluations, 23-hour observation, residential crisis stay, and detox services, to name a few. So we are very excited about that program. It has definitely been a labor of love, and it has also been a very expensive project at the tune of $15.1 million. So this has not been something that Horizon took lightly. We've done a lot of work to make this happen, and we've done a lot of work to make it happen for the communities. So you all, I'm sure, are no different than any other community. You hear from law enforcement officers how long it's taking them to get their officers back to the street, how many man-hours it's taking to deal with the emergency custody orders, and it's code mandated, as you know. So this project will greatly help them as well as help the community. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? I have a couple of them.
Okay.
Medication lock boxes, do you have any located in Appomattox County?
We do. We have them everywhere. So anybody can request them, and we will give them to whoever. They actually don't even have to be our client, because, again, that's a prevention program.
Okay, because the only one I know of right now is in the front of the sheriff's office and CVS when it's working or whatever.
So they would just need to request them from Horizon. So Jan Davis is actually over our prevention program. So I put that name out there because you can look her up and you can call her. And then we will make sure that you get them. But we also keep them in the Appomattox County office. We also take them to
in your office, that's what I was.
Yeah, and we also take them to community events. They're actually in every location that we have, not just in Appomattox.
And where is this new building you're building? You don't put the location here.
So it's on Fenwick Drive. I've talked about it so much, to be frank with you, I figured everybody knew at this point. Nope. But it's on Fenwick Drive, which, if you're familiar with Lynchburg, so it needed to be centrally located for all of our locations. And if you're familiar with Lynchburg, it's the old courtside building, which is where I think it was Crown Sterling was on the corner right there, so it's down that road. Okay, that's Fenwick Drive.
And then my third question is, RFOP Lodge just had a presentation by a dementia Alzheimer's specialist, and I was looking through your programs here, and unless I missed it or it's hidden in some of these, do you offer any, like, dementia counseling for children that are taking care of a dementia patient, a parent, or anything like that?
So we do have support services. Dementia treatment is a very specialized treatment. So we have like some beginning treatments, yes, but that sounds like you got a presentation that was more specialized, and those are specialized units. That's all they do.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. There was a lot of information.
You're very welcome. You all have a good evening. Thank you for your time.
All right, next up is appearance by Sheriff Robbie Richardson to talk about new hire supplement. Well, before you do that, how many tons of drugs do you get in your box of?
We get plenty, that's for sure. We don't keep record of how much we actually
Okay.
get, but it fills up pretty quickly each month. For one, I see Miss Lucy left, but I'm ecstatic to hear that we'll be opening that center pretty soon. It's going to help out tremendously with it's not a drop-off center, but we'll be able to drop off the ECO, TDOs quicker as long as there's somebody there to man the fort. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it comes and works out just as good as she says it will. Chairman, board, thank y'all for having me. The reason I'm here is unfortunately we lost a deputy to the private industry for more money to provide for their family. Quite frankly, completely understand in today's climate, you got to do what's best for your family. So the reason I'm here is we're doing interviews next week. We do have a couple candidates that are certified officers that are put in to join the sheriff's office and some that are not certified. So what I'm here for is what we've done in the past is to graciously ask that if we do decide to hire one of the certified officers, if we could give them a $5,000 addition to the starting pay, to their pay as we have before. And obviously if we decide to hire somebody that's not certified, it'd be just the base pay for that individual. Any questions? Short and sweet.
What is it, how much do we pay to get an officer certified? Do we have a cost that we pay the academy for
We
that?
do. I don't have that figure on me, but it's quite a bit of money. It's 6 months at the academy, paying them to be up there. And the training they have, the ammunition that we put them through, about 2,000 rounds while they're at the academy, things like that, we're going to save in funds.
So offering a bonus would be a savings over or less cost than putting them through the academy.
Sure, and it's not a bonus, it'd be a,
Well,
sure, yeah.
yeah, I don't,
I know what you meant, but I just want to clarify it. But yes, it would, and plus, you know,
incentive.
it's very good incentive, and it also brings quality to the county. They'll hit the street day one, put them through a small FTO program. If they're not from the county, we'll put them through a small FTO program just to make sure they can learn the county before we release them. But there'll be a 2 week to a month period compared to a 8 month, 9 month period. So yes, it would dearly help us out. Yes. 6 months. Yeah.
And will this require an increase in your budget, or is there money in the budget, or where would this funds come from?
It would be an increase to the budget. If it was somebody that had already got this $5,000, then I would just laterally move it over. But the person that left was somebody that was hired in a prior administration. So therefore, those funds are not there, so it had to be new funds.
Mr. Wilkes-Kelly?
So since I've been here and y'all been gracious enough to give that $5,000 to people that have been certified, if it was one of those individuals that left, that $5,000 would already be in my my budget to give that to the new hire. This individual was hired prior administration, so he didn't have the luxury of getting the $5,000 extra as being certified when he came here. So therefore, it had to be new money put into my budget for it.
Any more discussion, Mr. Hampson?
No, I mean, I think everybody agrees it's common sense. So it's just a matter of making it happen. I mean, I can make a motion now that we extend the 5,000.
Okay, Mr. Hips has made the motion that we increase the sheriff's budget by $5,000 so he can offer this incentive. Reverend Jones has seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. Upscale. Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter. Mr. Hips.
Aye.
I vote aye also.
Thank you. I'll see you at the next session.
Thank you, Sheriff. Yes, sir. All right, next up is our esteemed circuit clerk, Miss Janet Hicks.
Good evening, gentlemen, Ms. Adams and staff. I believe I have either spoken to some of you all or sent you an email as to why I'm here this evening, but I'm just here to make sure that everything falls properly in place with the new upcoming fiscal year. As you all are aware, I have gone through numerous training classes over the course of 2 years to receive my master clerk certification. The last and final step of this whole process was to request compensation from the state budget that was submitted in January of this year. And I was surprised to see that I was able to slide into a slot and obtain this master clerk certification. It's a 9.3% increase, I believe, to my salary. And the reason I'm here is I'm requesting that the county does graciously provide a supplement to my salary. And as far as I know, it has been approved for the upcoming fiscal year. And I would just ask that that supplement remain in place and that the funds that flow from the State Compensation Board be directly returned to me likewise. Okay. Another item that I'm here about is, unfortunately, I'm also losing an employee come the end of this month. This position is supplemented for a small amount of money. And I am requesting that this supplement remain in place, whether I need to use that to offer or extend someone with more experience than entry level coming to my office. I'm presently in the process right now of trying to recruit for a position to be vacant June the 1st, and I'm asking that supplement remain in place, whether I need to use it to offer to the new employee or whether I need to do something internally with my staff to differentiate or reward those that do have some experience to where they are a little bit higher than the entry-level person that may be coming in. And my third and final item that I'm here before you all this evening is in looking at my state comp board fiscal year 26 budget. I was pleasantly surprised to see that the comp board has granted me a new position. This position will come effective July the 1st, and the comp board gave it to 117 other clerks' offices for July the 1st. The reason I'm here is in January when I was proposing and doing my locality budget, I was not aware of this coming into place. This position is fully funded by the State Compensation Board. There is no funds or fees required of the locality except for the locality to provide those benefits to the employee, whether they choose to take the health insurance or not, and of course the Virginia retirement system contribution. So I'm here asking you all that before I get to the point of making job offers to people, that you all will allow me to take on this position come July the 1st and that the benefits will be picked up. Any questions from anyone?
Mr. Chair.
Reverend Jones.
Yeah, so the only new money will be for the employee?
Yes,
and
the only new
position for the
money.
benefits?
The only new money that I'm here this evening asking you all about is my last request because, as stated, I did not know that I would be receiving this position come July 1st. And there is a little cost to the county. Although the whole salary will be paid from the state comp board, you all were probably not planning on having a new person on board July the 1st for the benefits to be paid. And there again, I don't know if my selected employee will be taking the health insurance, but the retirement, of course, would be a given.
Thank you.
Ms. Adams, would you speak to as to what it's gonna cost the county or what we're required to do.
Yeah, you may have seen the exchange of emails, but Ms. Hicks and myself spoke today, and so I tried to take each category and break it down. Like she said, most of it is funded by the comp board, so that wouldn't be a decision that this board would need to make. We would just add it to the appropriations resolution in June. The benefits for like this salary, I just did the math, it's about 27%. Because we pay VRS, FICA, health insurance, and life insurance. So it would be a little over $11,000. And then the other benefits for the other employees, since we had already added that into the FY '26 budget for the one that's vacating that position, it shouldn't be much more as far as the benefits. So all that basically I need from this board would be a head nod that it's okay, to approve everything that Ms. Hicks stated. And at the time of the appropriations resolution, we'll include these extra expenses into it in June.
Do we get a head nod from everyone?
I'm in favor.
Yeah.
I see everybody nodding their heads, so
Thank you all. I
Good to
appreciate
go.
your consideration of this matter.
you're welcome. All right, next up. And Mr. Nye, I was watching, though we couldn't get you in the 6-year plan, I'm gonna have the county administrator be in contact with VDOT to have them stay on top of keeping your road serviceable, at least until you get on the 6-year plan. All right, next up is public hearing on RZ 250174, Ideal Design Services LLC, Clark Campbell. A duly advertised public hearing has been scheduled to receive comments on the conditional rezoning petition of Ideal Design Services LLC, property owner and Clark Campbell agent. The petition requests to rezone one parcel located at 11799 Richmond Highway, east of the town of Appomattox, from A1 agricultural zoning district to conditional M1 industrial zoning district. The petitioner has submitted a proffer statement which limits the number and type of permitted land uses and eliminates all land use allowed by conditional use permits. The parcel is identified as tax map identification number 77A119 is located and is a total of 3.652 acres. At this regular April meeting, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend accepting the proffer statement and approval of the rezoning position as presented. So has anyone signed up to speak besides probably Mr. Campbell? Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Campbell? I see he's, or would you like to speak a few words, sir?
I tied up enough time at the zoning meeting, so I don't want to tie up more of y'all's time. If y'all have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Some of y'all may have ridden by and seen some of the work we've done already. We're by no means done. We got a lot of work left to do. But if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions of Mr. Campbell?
Mr. Chairman,
Carter.
excuse me, I just like to say, well, congratulations on moving forward in
Thank
your
you.
endeavors.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Hips.
I think it's an easy decision. Not only was it a unanimous decision with the planning commission, but it's my understanding that the neighboring properties also were fine with it, and some of them actually, came to speak to that. And you guys, I think, a lot of credit to you guys to go and speak with the neighbors, let them know what's going on, and try to see what their concerns are. So I think you guys have done everything that you could do.
Well, and we went to our neighbors because we don't want them to get a letter in the mail of us,
Yeah.
surprise, here's what's coming next door. So that can be kind of a sticker shock to some neighbors a little bit when they see that. So we tried to explain everything as best we could.
And I was happy to see all them semi-trailers moved out of there.
I promise you, I was more glad than you were.
All righty, if there's no other questions, accept a motion to approve the ordinance as submitted.
So moved.
Mr. Hips has moved, we approve the ordinance. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill has seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Carter? Aye. Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Whipskill? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
I vote aye also.
Thank you, sir.
Clear to go.
Thank y'all. I do want to say, if I can have about 10 seconds, I want to kind of give a shout out to Johnny Rourke. He was super helpful throughout the process of this, because we had some issues figuring out exactly what we were going to be labeled. So he was super helpful, went through multiple definitions with us, spent plenty of time, answered all our phone calls, all our questions, was always there for us, every step of it. So we just wanted to give a shout out to him because he was much help.
Well, thank you for saying that. It's always good to hear that our county employees are appreciated.
Yep.
Yep, no problem. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, action items. Commissioner Revenue Refund Request. Ms. Sarah Henderson, Commissioner Revenue, is requesting the following to be paid from 1209-5803 refunds. Number one, refund of Jerome Wayne Christian and Isaiah Jerome Christian, $929.75 for 2024 personal property tax paid. They were erroneously assessed. And item number two, refund Julia Bell Smertzer, $105.03 for 2025 personal property taxes that they were erroneous assessed. Staff recommends considering the above refunds transferred by consent, $1,034.78 from the general fund and appropriate to 1209-5803. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved. We transfer. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carter seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Whipskill? I vote aye also. Transfer $1,034.78 from general fund to appropriation 1209-5803 is approved. Next, Department of Social Services. Please transfer by consent $4,765.65 from the general fund and appropriate it to 5301-3009 Management Consulting. At the November 18, 24 meeting, the board approved the county administrator to execute a consulting contract for an interim director for the Department of Social Services not to exceed $15,000. Staff recommends approval as there's no local funds required. I think county administrator ought to be commended for only spending a third of what was authorized. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to approve the transfer. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Whipskill seconded. Discussion. Mr. Whipskill. Aye. Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. I vote aye also. The transfer of $4,765.65 from the general fund and appropriate into 5301-3009 Management Consulting is approved. Next up, amendment to Chapter 3.2 elections. At the April 21st, 2025 meeting, a duly advertised public hearing was held to receive public comment on a proposed ordinance to amend our Appomattox County Code, Chapter 3, Article 2, elections. The board tabled the amendment to allow time to hear from the Attorney General's office for a certificate of no objection. This amendment would change paragraph 3.2-12D to consolidate the voting precincts and polling places in the Piney Mountain District into one precinct, with polling locations at the Oakville Ruritan Building, 181 Piney Mountain Road, eliminating the AG precinct and polling location. Staff recommends consider the ordinance to amend the Appomattox Code, Chapter 3, Article 2, elections.
Mr. Chairman, I make that motion.
Reverend Jones has made the motion that we approve the ordinance amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Whipskill is seconded. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Reverend, Mr. Hips? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Whipskill? I vote aye also. The ordinance has been approved. All right, consent agenda. The consent agenda includes approval of bills, minutes, supplemental appropriations, line item transfers, fund transfers. Any item of the consent agenda shall be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member prior to the vote on a consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered by the board individually in order which they were removed from the consent agenda immediately following consideration of the consent agenda. Gentlemen, what would you like to do with the consent agenda? Mr. Wolfgill's made a motion that the consent agenda be approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carter, second. Discussion. Hearing none. Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. Reverend Jones. Mr. Wolfskill. I vote aye also. The consent agenda is approved as submitted. Next up. County Attorney, you're on the hot seat.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The first item I wanted to bring to the board's attention is a lease and purchase option agreement amendment. This is a proposed amendment to the current Appomattox Christian Academy lease and purchase option agreement. As you know, we have been working with CVCC to expand their footprint in the facility here, so that would require a reduction in the size of the footprint of ACA in this facility here. So this amendment would reduce the size of the footprint that ACA has access to in these facilities. And I would recommend that you approve the amendment as presented.
Is there discussion? I know we've talked about this amendment in previous meetings, and any questions of the attorney? Mr. Wolfskill, you act like you're saying something. Okay.
I mean, like you said, we did talk about it.
All right. If I heard Mr. Wolfskill right, he made the approval to approve the lease as amended.
Second.
Mr. Carter seconded. Any further discussion? All righty. Mr. Carter, what do you say?
Aye.
Mr. Hips? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfskill? I vote aye also. Approval of the new purchase option agreement amendment is approved.
Mr. Chairman, the second item I wanted to discuss with the board was a land acquisition offer. As you have been made aware, Mr. Sears, who's the property owner next door to the sheriff's office, had offered to sell 2 parcels of land of the entire parcels that he owns that are right next door. We have done our due diligence as staff. We feel comfortable that the property is suitable for our purposes, so we would certainly recommend that we move forward with that property acquisition. Now, the problem is that we still have not gotten complete final hard numbers on what the purchase price will be. We have received, as of, I think, 5:15 this afternoon, a proposed settlement statement that would suggest that while the sales price would be $689,800 for the land itself, the county would need to expend a total of approximately $694,512. That would include coverage for a title commitment to ensure that the county has clear title to the land. At this point, I would recommend that the board approve staff moving forward with the purchase of this property in an amount not to exceed $695,000, just to cover any changes in that number, and we can proceed with moving to close on the property immediately.
I'll make that motion.
All righty. Mr. Wolfskill's made the motion to authorize staff to proceed with purchase of the property not to exceed $695,000. Is there a second? Mr. Hips has seconded. Discussion.
Oh, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter.
I guess my number one thought is, and I probably need to direct it to Ms. Adams, do we need this property?
Mr. Carter, I think it's something that's been discussed in the Facilities Committee, that there was a need for the property due to not having any property to expand into if we needed any more county facilities.
Yes, I believe you had a doctor's appointment or something maybe on that day, Mr. Carter, but the Facilities Committee, Mr. Shepherd went and briefed us on the property. It would give him a place to move equipment up from the landfill that's stored at the landfill now and bring it to a centralized location. The building could be used for part of his office and storage materials. The building is also, there could be adapted, there's plenty of room there, could be adapted for future expansion. We need county office space, whether it be for one of the agencies that we support, like a health department or register, whatever, we could use it for additional office space. And the fact that, you know, where we are now, we're landlocked. This is the opportunity to allow the future expansion close to where we're centrally located. So that was the thinking of the Facilities Committee at that time, was that this would be a good chance for us to look forward and be prepared for future.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Y'all gonna be my neighbor.
All righty. Motion's been made and seconded to go ahead with the purchase of the building not to exceed $695,000. Mr. Westcott, how do you vote?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hips? Aye. Mr. Carter?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Next up is the administrator's report.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Or
Chairman.
do you have anything else?
You just said administrator's report, I said, oh, boy.
So, I thought I missed something more that the attorney had.
So you have the departments listed. I would encourage you, if there's any questions relative to the individual reports, that you reach out to those department heads. And then on the back sheet, page 4, it's the county administrator's report. I've got several things listed in conjunction to the courthouse construction and what kind of timeline we're looking at on that. Also, the Regional 2000 Services Authority, that we could be potentially looking at up to a $5 per ton tipping fee. But we did, during the budget work session, we took that into consideration, so that wouldn't be an increase over what we budgeted. Also, the Department of Social Services renovation, that's nearing the end, hopefully. Prior to the next meeting, we'll be moving. And then there's been a lot of work being performed by the maintenance department at the youth sports complex. And the commissioner's been communicating with us because they're having a tournament the weekend of June 20th. And so they've asked for additional work to be performed and prepping that field, and Jeff and his crew are taking care of that. I did meet with the town manager last week for lunch, and we talked about potentially in the near future scheduling a meeting, but I think you already received an invite that I wasn't aware of at the time. But I would suggest that before responding to that and establishing a date, that this board would have a strategic work session. We've got several large ticket items coming up that we need to account for in our CIP, and talk about, just have a strategy on what this board prioritizes as far as moving forward and expending money. And also, congratulations to the town. You probably have received an invitation to their celebration, centennial anniversary celebration, and it's on June 7th from 5 to 8 p.m. And then I just gave, the Facilities Committee met last week, and I think maybe one of you may have asked at the previous meeting about the health department needs. We've been communicating with the state, and we are looking at several options. What we found out with the state phone call is they're not requiring as much space as they previously required, from about 4,400 square foot down to 2,400. They're only having limited clinics because they only have 2 practitioners in the entire region that they have to share. So they are basically contracting out a lot of their services right now. And then I did have a note about VASAP. I think we kind of tossed that back and forth. You did approve a $5,000 donation, but we had never contributed to them before. So I think Mr. Carter and myself were both a little mixed up on that. But they're asking the localities now to contribute to the program. Any questions?
I just, I'd like to, Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Westkill?
we really do need to schedule a strategic meeting to go over the things that are coming up down the road that we need to look at.
I was just gonna address that as I firmly believe that we need to have a meeting prior to meeting with the town so that we are a unified voice and we know what our priorities are.
Read those emails today? You see those emails today? Yeah, we do.
So, and I don't know if that's something we could do at the June meeting, or is that something we need to do prior to the June meeting?
When's the meeting set?
It's not,
It's not.
it's not, there's a hiccup.
So therefore, that'll be
Pardon me?
sometime prior.
Yeah, sometime prior, there's not a time. Right? You could easily do it at a June meeting. Or have a separate meeting.
Well, I almost think, I know we hate to schedule additional
Or
meetings,
should be a separate meeting.
but I think we do need some type of like CIP work session because it's going to be a lot for us to talk about and strategize. So it may
It'll
not
have to
be,
at night, because Mr. Hips can't make a daytime meeting, so.
would it be appropriate if I send out dates for us to look at?
I think that'd be appropriate. County administrator send out dates for us to pick and times and. All right, we'll look forward to that, those emails. Anything else for the county
Put
administrator?
it on her to-do list.
All right, also attached is a school financial report for you to review for March and April 2025 month-end fiscal reports from Jason Tibbs, Director of Finance Human Resources. Other than that, supervisors' concerns. This time it's for individual board members to share information with other members of the board and public. The items requests presented under this heading require action, will be a future meeting agenda, or request additional information from staff members. No item presented under this heading shall be acted upon at this meeting without unanimous consensus of the board. Is there any supervisor concerns at this time? Mr. Carter?
No, sir.
Mr. Hips? Mr. Wipscott? Reverend Jones?
Yeah.
All righty, then, we'll move into closed session. I move that the board enter into closed session for limited purpose of a discussion regarding information related to security at the middle school where discussion is open, meeting would jeopardize the safety of any person or security of any facility or building pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, paragraph, or parentheses 19 of the Code of Virginia, parentheses 1950 as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Wolfskill. Voting to go in closed session. Reverend Jones? Mr. Hips? Mr. Carter? I vote aye also. So, thank you for